to take a plane to another plane, to another plane, to another plane, bumping Baka not nice while I'm trapping in the rain.
Hello and welcome everybody. Episode number 2.
Hello.
Of Ezza Trips Balls. My guest today, David Dablock Tyrell.
How's it going?
This is the St. Patrick's Day special, if you didn't notice by my friend's hat and boa over here.
You know what I mean? I had to come correct. You never know what's going to happen, but I got to, be a little extravagant.
We don't have green beer for this event, but we've got the next closest thing. We've got bright blue alien punch rum.
Okay.
So we're going to pull up a little bit of this to get things started. While I'm pouring up our glasses, if you want to let the people know any upcoming shows or events you want to promote at the moment.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me onto the show. You know what I mean? It's an honor and a pleasure to be here on Ezza Trips Balls. Definitely look forward to that section of the segment, or that segment of this section. But coming up, actually, tonight, I am going to be in Niagara Falls. Then on March 26th, I'm going to be at Lux nightclub in Welland, performing with Zach Burry on the Underground tour. Then on the 28th of March, that's just a Saturday, we're going to be out at Shorty's Bar in St. Catharines, and I believe you're going to be making a special guest appearance at that show?
That was excellently timed, as I just grabbed my microphone as you segued onto me. I will be making a special guest appearance at that show. Thank you for mentioning that. March 28th, we're opening for Dre Specs.
Yes.
Toronto OG from the east side.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a fun little show. Looking forward to that.
Mike Guts is going to be in the building as well with supporting acts.
That's on Geneva Street.
Geneva Street. I think it's 107.
The legendary Geneva Street. Yes.
55 Geneva Street. Okay, so cheers to that.
So, my friend,
Aye.
we are in the midst of a very interesting 24-hour news cycle right now.
Oh, man.
I'd like to point out that at the time of this recording, just within the last 12 hours or so, the NBA has suspended or postponed its season. Yep. Other professional sports leagues are in the talks of doing the same thing.
Believe it or not, the WWE, who has been one of the longest-running pay-per-view tacticians, might be canceling the biggest pay-per-view of their season.
I didn't even hear about that one.
WrestleMania might be canceled.
There may be no WrestleMania. St. Patrick's Day Parade, which has been 200 and some odd years running concurrently every single year in New York City, has been officially canceled.
Ooh.
It's a sad St. Patrick's Day. What else do we got? Tom Hanks has got the coronavirus.
Yeah, and his wife, I believe. Yeah.
And his wife. We've got the Toronto Raptors currently in quarantine.
Oklahoma's in quarantine.
Yeah, every team that's played Utah, I believe, recently.
Yeah, I just got a message about another one of the Utah Jazz being testing positive for the coronavirus, and it's just like, and you got a lot of people that are making jokes about it, like, oh, well, I don't drink beer, so I'm okay. But, like, this...
Drink Dos Equis.
But seriously, like, it's getting to the point where we have to take necessary precautions to avoid this from spreading, because, like, we have been on that antiseptic thing for a while out here in North America, so that kind of helps the situation. But, like, other places in the world are just now seeing they should have been doing what we've been doing. Yikes. I got a niece over in Europe right now, and I think they're looking to ban flights from Europe.
Seems to be headed in that direction. Donald Trump, I believe, just did for the States. I don't think it's happened for Canada yet. But
I hope not, because she's
whereabouts in Europe is she?
She was in Austria the last time I spoke to her, but she was backpacking, so yeah.
She could very well be stranded in northern Italy right now.
No, she was going north. She was going north. she was running away from
the coronavirus. Well, let's have a toast to life here.
Toast to life. Cheers.
Toast to life. We're still breathing. We're still living here in the Niagara region. There has been, at the time of this recording, 0 cases in the Niagara region. I believe there's been 1 in Hamilton. What I want to know from you, my friend, you've had enough years on this planet. You've seen a lot in the media. You've seen a lot of cycles of things happen.
Yeah.
What's your take on the coronavirus? Is the fear, is the panic proportionate to the disease, or is it disproportionate? Is being blown out of proportion? In my opinion, to control the population with fear mongering.
Can I speak freely?
Very much encouraged.
All right.
As a Chips Ball show.
So here's what I think about this situation. I genuinely think the greater percentage of this is what you closed off your statement with. It's fear mongering, because I believe that there is excess stock in like emergency supplies. They have an excess stock of emergency supplies. So in order to get rid of those so they can make more money and make more supplies, they create a panic in order to get people to go out and go crazy over like toilet paper and water and batteries and flashlights and candles and all of that stuff. But then all they're doing is buying into the fear. This has been out since 2019. The CO in COVID-19 stands for corona, the VI stands for virus, the D stands for disease, and 19 stands for the year that it was discovered.
2019.
So why are we just panicking now?
Shit's really popping off.
Exactly.
Apparently, so
It
they
is.
say.
It is. And if you look at your Lysol wipes or your Lysol sprays, one of the things that it fights is the coronavirus. So the human coronavirus.
It says
Yes.
that on the Lysol.
It says that on the Lysol container.
So this thing's been out there.
It's been out there. They know about it. They when they found out about it, they didn't get the result that they wanted. So they had to tap into the media to create the scare. And after they created the scare and have everybody now going to the grocery stores and buying it out, going to hardware stores and buying it out, like they're just going to start manufacturing all the things that they had taken away.
Yeah, there's a lot of financial implications to this thing, right? We've got some Clorox wipes here.
Okay.
No, there's a lot of financial implications to this thing, right? Which is what makes it suspicious right off the bat. All the stocks going down, the economy, people who own obviously people who do any sort of business involving large crowds are kind of fucked because sports.
Oh yeah, sports,
concerts, even movie theaters. People aren't going to movie theaters as much because they don't want to be around other people. And
talk shows are doing features without their guests, without their audience.
No audience.
No audience. A lot of shows are doing the shows with no audience now. So
to me, it seems a little disproportionate.
Like if it was as bad, okay, if it is as bad as they said it is, why didn't we hear about it when it first happened?
Yeah, I heard about it when I was in Mexico. So that was like the third and fourth week of January 2020. And that's when I got the notification on my phone that there was an outbreak. And now we're into March, and this thing's gotten pretty fucking out of hand. Okay. Yeah, no, we'll have to pause in a few minutes and come back.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
So, little coronavirus talk we got to have. It's just, it's an obligation at this point. We are recording in March 2020, therefore we have to talk coronavirus.
Yeah.
What I really want to talk about, what I want to get into with you is the album, man, Cheshire Black.
Cheshire Black. Oh my goodness.
I really wanted to, my plan was to start this podcast sooner and have you again in one of my first episodes closer to the release of the album.
Okay.
Unfortunately, things didn't go out that way, but here we are. So I want to continue and go ahead as planned.
All right.
And discuss that project a little bit.
Okay.
I let me just say, I love the project. I think it's probably my favorite work of yours.
Thank you. Thank you.
What I find very interesting and different about this project is that it sort of starts off with like an old school boom bappy kind of feel, and then it goes into a more modern trappy feel, and then to the end it becomes just an all out dance hall party.
Yes.
There's a progression and an evolution in the genres and the overall mood of what's going on.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, that's just my first thing I want to point out that I found interesting about the album, but I want you to go into the title, how you came up with it, what your creative process was behind it, and if what I just described fits into the whole Cheshire Black theme.
Okay,
And how so?
All right, so the title. I read a lot of books growing up, and one of the most interesting characters I've ever come across is the Cheshire Cat.
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland, because he can just appear. He just appears out of nowhere and then disappears at his leisure. So that was kind of a bit of a persona adaptation over the years. And then I looked into. I was out one Easter, and I had bunny ears on. Well, if I'm on another
like guy likes to dress up for the holidays.
That's kind of my shtick. So I had the bunny ears on, and I took a picture, and I was in the dark, and I could barely see myself. Like I could just make out my eyes and my mouth and the bunny ears. So I'm just like, Cheshire Black. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So then I kind of put it on the back burner for a second. I kind of left it alone, and I was just like, all right. And I started making some songs, and I'm just like, I want to make something different. I have collaborated with a lot of people, yourself included. You know what I mean? We did Break. We did We Wildin'. We did a couple of tracks. Cop Shop. You know what I mean? With Jube Electron. Shout outs to, you know what I mean, Jube. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to do something that was different, because like you have your, like, I'm going to call it your mystic rap.
Okay.
It's a mystic rap, because it's like, it's just, it's so detailed and so creative, and it's just like, it's not like anything anybody else is doing. So I'm like, okay,
thank you,
no problem. So I'm just like, all right, there's this angle, there's this angle. And then I was working with Stott on a project, and he said, you know what, you should work on the reggae. And I said, bro, I'm born in Canada. I don't want no one to go and say that I am a Jafaican because I'm chatting in patois. And he's like, nah, man, don't worry about it. It's your roots. And I'm like, okay. So I sat down on it, and then we made an album called The Disturbing Truth. And it's a 16-track album where we have him rapping and me doing the reggae thing.
I never heard that.
Yeah, I got to get you a copy of that. So then I started doing the reggae, and I was just like, but I'm nature. My nature so far has been hip hop. So I said, you know what? I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm gonna start with hip hop. I'm gonna transcend into like a modern type of music, and then I'm gonna finish it with reggae. I'm gonna give them a bit of everything that I'm capable of, and I'm gonna see how they like it. And you literally, when you described it, hit the nail right on the head. That's exactly what I was going for. Like,
amazing. Dude.
Yeah, man. And even to the details that you described it, I'm just like, yes, he actually understood the message. He understood the vibe that I was trying to get across with this. So, yeah, I wanted people to have something to dance to, but I wanted them to think a little bit, and I wanted them to be able to relate to what I was saying. So that's why I did the songs the way I did, in a progression. Like I started it with Cheshire Black just to, you know, welcome people to like I start with what, ladies and gentle people, welcome to Cheshire Black. And then it's basically like, welcome to my life, but welcome to like the side of my life that you've never seen before, kind of thing. So Cheshire Black kind of is a bit of my reggae persona. Like outside, if I were to separate the hip hop from the reggae, from the metal, from the alternative that I'm doing now, like that would be my reggae persona.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, I love that because I have a real passion for just like albums and the idea that goes behind like what makes an album, like what makes this song belong on this album and this song not belong on this album, you know?
Okay.
So that's why I was interested in breaking down the way that you did that. I wanted to ask as well, like you obviously wanted to do both hip hop and reggae on this.
Yes.
What made you decide? And I like this decision, but for you, what was your thought process behind starting with hip hop rather than starting with reggae?
I think it was more along the lines of where I started, because I started. Okay.
No worries.
Okay.
No worries.
All right. I started with hip hop, like initially when I going back to when I was 18 years old, so like 17 years ago now. That was my first experience lyrically with music. I mean, I've played in a band. I played in band from I was 8 years old, so it's like 30 to 50 to 70 piece compositions. Or like piece playing I'm used to hearing, but like the aspect of hip hop like, I mean, the West Side Connection, DMX, Ludacris, Classified, Cardinal, Chauclair, all of these people kind of like influenced me in a way. So I said, I'm going to do the hip hop. That's because that's where I started. But then as I did the hip hop, I evolved into an artist as opposed to a hip hop artist.
Right.
So I play in a metal band. I play in an alternative band. I do a rap duo with Zach Burry. Shout out to Zach Burry. And I said, let me give them a little bit of the new stuff that I'm doing because I want to get their opinion. I want to give them a comparative analysis. I want to get a comparative analysis on what I'm doing and what they like of what I'm doing. So I gave them. It was like a buffet, for so to speak,
right,
of sounds or of songs that they could digest. And I find that if you listen to it on random, you get a different feel than if you listen to it straight through.
right.
Right. So
like the actual, I find the official track list is almost chronological to how you actually developed as an artist. Like you're starting with more boom bappy stuff, then you move into sort of a modern trap thing, and now here's what I can do that's a completely different fucking genre.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And then if you were to play it at random, you're getting more of just a smorgasbord of different things.
Yeah, it's just like you never know. Like a song called King Me, that's not just like some people might come across or think it comes across arrogant. It's not. It's like that song is basically meant to say like, treat me with the respect you want kind of thing, you know what I mean? So it could be queen me in a woman's essence, you know what I mean? But I was writing from the male perspective. So I say king me in that sense. And like that song has gotten a good review. I think the best song, the best song that's actually, the song that's doing the best actually is Body Language.
Okay.
And I released that single last year, Caravana. And when I re-released it on the album, it just picked up steam.
All right. On that note, we're going to pick back up. Yes, sir. So we're middle of discussing the Cheshire Black project.
Yes.
We were just talking about the song King Me. What other standout tracks for you personally are on there as far as songs that people should check out, maybe if they just want one or two things to give them an example of the Block's work?
I'd say there's the two songs I'd say is Chief and No Waste Time, the Lil Haitian mix, because
it's a banger.
That one I was definitely like, I was dancing the whole time I was recording that. Like I was in the mood. I like, oh my, move your waistline. I know you don't want waistline, so kick it to the baseline. Like you could probably hear my chains if you listen close.
That's when the real, when you hear the chains dangling, that's some real fucking organic raw bass shit right there.
Yeah, man. So
I like your revisited hook.
No Hook revamp.
Revamp.
That one.
Because I really enjoyed you performing that song, and now this is like a fucking, like you fucking gave that shit some steroids and some lean. Lean with steroids in it.
I was I was just talking to you about Zach Burry a second ago, and we're in studio, and he said, you know what? He mentioned I gotta pull back a little bit. I spoke to Will Dridge, and he said that I should release the track. And when he said that, it kind of got into my head. But then I spoke to Zach Burry, like without telling him what Will Dridge said, and then he's like, you should use that beat to remix the track. So I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm going to remix the track. And I remixed the track, and it's just like, it was so swaggy. I felt like I was dripping in sauce when I recorded it.
What really caught me in that was your verses, man. You really spitting on that fucking song, man.
Oh yeah, I that was one of my wordiest songs. Like even when from the start, it's like truer words are rare. House of Ego, where? Who was that right there? It's like, first of all, like I'm talking about my ego being so big that it fits in a warehouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but I'm also talking about like werewolves and all kinds of, like if you listen to it, it's so complex and intricate. Like I'm talking about some real stuff on there. You know what I mean? Like even when I go to the, I think it's the third verse, 613, I politic, words I brawl with it, get you punch drunk, alcoholic, General Isle, sonic boom when I spit, tune with the boom outcast. There's way too much in there for me to break down.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot in there happening right there. You know what I mean?
And that's what caught me about that song. I was just like, holy fuck, this guy's fucking really spitting here. And that's the thing with hip hop artists who try to dip their toes into multiple things, right? Like I try to do that, and rappers that do that tend to get underlooked as as like people that can actually spit.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh well, he's doing songwriting, so he's not really spitting.
Or he's a party rapper, or he only
or
raps for
this or
clubs.
that.
Yeah.
But it's like then you really get down in a song like that, and it really shows like, no, like I can do this as a craft, as like I take this craft of writing raps seriously.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And to further that point, it's like I was approached by an individual who asked me if I just wanted to rap one word rhyme one word structures. And I was just like, no. But then I went over my catalog and I was just like, I don't do that. You know what I mean? I had to anytime I get a constructive critique, I always reassess myself to a degree. You know what I mean? Because I take everybody as a member of the universe, right? So like you might not even know what you're saying to me, but you're meant to say it to me. Right?
Totally.
So I'm just taking I'm taking what you're saying and I'm going to apply it to my life because I'm clearly supposed to hear it for a reason.
As if it's like God talking to you through that person.
Exactly.
Or whatever you need to hear is being said to you, whether that person is conscious of why you need to hear it or not.
Exactly. So like when I hear these kinds of things, I'm just like, okay, this is for me to hear, what is for me to do, and how do I get it done? And sometimes it's just like someone who's just in a bad mood and they just want to vent their frustrations. And sometimes it's someone who legitimately takes concern for what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and wants me to do better. You know what I mean? So I have to, and I invite more artists to look at things with an open mind, because personally, that one comment, that one critique could be the thing that changes your career and makes it even better. Like I was saying with the whole comment on the no hook. And to tell you the truth, I remixed it again. There's another.
I mean, since then?
Since then, there's another remix to No Hook.
No Hook.
Yes,
remix.
yes.
And it still has a hook, I bet.
Honestly,
there's no need for a hook.
But this is the hook.
There's the hook.
It's actually, you know what? There was a sample chopped for that hook, for this time. But definitely, I got to shout out DK Lonely on that one. He's like, bro,
That's
man.
not the big homie DK.
Y'all got a good one with him, man. I'm telling you,
man. I've been trying to push this guy to get back into doing this music shit for a minute, and I'm glad that he has been coming around and hanging out with some different people and working on some shit and really getting himself out there, because for a long time I've been saying people are sleeping on this fucking guy.
In a span of a week, he remixed my whole album.
Guy's a savant.
You know what I mean? I was just like, now I'm sitting here looking at the album I released, and then the other album, I'm just like, well, they've done it before, so this is the first time I'm announcing it for the general public. I am going to be releasing the album Cheshire's Back.
Cheshire's back.
Cheshire's back, yeah. And
as a Trips Balls exclusive announcement.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna be. I haven't figured out the date, but I will let you know when I do. And actually, no, I think I figured out the date. It's gonna be July 22nd. Yeah, July 22nd. That's for anybody who wants to know. That's my birthday. We're going to medieval times to celebrate. So
shit.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be. I'm telling everybody who wants to come. You know what I mean? Just let's go to Toronto. I take it you've been.
No, but I'm down.
Okay, so it's a Wednesday
down for some jousting and
it's
shit.
a Wednesday, bro. So like, you know what I mean? Let me know. We're going down, and
July 22nd.
July 22nd is a Wednesday.
Cheshire's Back. That's the remix album?
That's the remix album.
Shouts out to DK Lonely. So while we're on that subject, let's talk about the Basementals.
Okay.
What's going on with that? There's a new band. How is now Breadman told me he's involved in this, but no, he doesn't play no goddamn instruments. How is he involved in this band? What's going on?
He plays that computer like it's an instrument, bro.
Plays that motherfucking.
He plays that computer like
those Fruity Loops.
He
baby.
plays those fruit. I'm telling you, bro. Like we were there practicing one time, and he asked me that same question. It's like, what am I like? You all play instruments. What am I doing? But what he does is, because we have a multifaceted way to approach this. So we have the structure of our instrumentals, where each artist plays their instrument and we make a song. And then we have the remix quotient, where we play the samples, record them onto the computer. Then he takes a sample out of each part that we've played as a whole, and then he makes a beat out of it.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah. So that's where he fits in. Right now we're talking about trying to get the samples chopped so that he can just play from the computer, like play sample chops on the computer. But yeah, that's where he fits in, and he's definitely like positive energy. So like he's like
It's the Choom Gang effect, baby.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. He's definitely like, yeah, man. Choom Gang. Check him out. What's your
Home
YouTube?
Records.
Home Records. Yeah.
Home Records official.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's just where it is. That's just how it's been, and like I don't even know. Like I could see why y'all have some of the sounds that you do when it comes to what he's produced and things like that. It's just, man, like y'all been putting in that work, and like the experience shows.
I really appreciate it, and we've been a creative echo chamber for each other as well. Like as you said, like Breadman and I sound similar rapping, and you can hear how some of the sounds that he produces fit in cohesively with the other sounds you hear coming from our camp.
Yeah, and
that's essentially it. Is that we've been formulating this vision together for so long that it all does cohesively fit in. And I think that we've got a lot of sleepers, man. We just got a lot of people that, again, by fault of their own, and I tell them about this, motherfucker, Choom Gang. I'm talking to my own team here.
Close the north.
You know, they don't utilize their talents. I've been trying to push these motherfuckers, Breadman included, to start doing this shit because the local scene could use a bit more stimulation and simulation of stimulation.
Yes.
So let's talk about the Niagara scene.
Okay, well, before we talk about the Niagara scene, yes, he's heard you and he's mentioned that exact same conversation. So that's what I think he's doing it in honor of the conversations that you guys have had. So
goddamn right.
Yeah,
man. Breadman. I love you, bro.
Yeah, man. So Niagara, man, like I have to quote another one of my songs. There's a scene in Niagara on the rise. We put in work, exposing North Enterprise. But Choom Gang's out here too. You know what I mean? Like, I'll tell you right now, Choom Gang was out here in St. Catharines before I was out here. And they're making a lot of noise. I've seen, you dropped your Enlit album.
Yes, sir.
Before that was
Dankonia.
Choom
Gang album, yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? The MMXIV.
Yeah,
MMXIV. You know what I mean? Like, we go back. we go.
Been going back.
So, like, I don't know. It's like, the way I see it is this. Until enough of us are seen working together on one common goal, there's going to be too many people chasing their own tails, trying to prove that they can do it on their own.
I think history has proven that correct in some of the other scenes that we've seen blow the fuck up, like your Atlantas and your Chicagos, your Torontos.
Yep.
They've all blown up off of movements of, it's not just been one person, it's been waves of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously Drake was the catalyst behind the Toronto movement,
but
after that it's been a wave of Toronto artists.
True, but
right?
even before Drake, there was like Chaclair and the Black Jays and Cardinal, and
she did originally bring up
who got us in the attention, and then Drake took that and then made it, and he benefited from that. I think Tory Lanez. I've heard a lot about him.
And it was all of them working together that really made it huge. Like I remember watching Much Music as a kid, and Northern Touch came out.
Yes, we were just talking about that song the other day.
And it was those guys all being together on the same track, and it was like, okay, this is a fucking movement. Like,
it
not
is.
only are all these people from, some of them were from different parts of Canada. I think on Northern Touch, they weren't all from Toronto.
Some was from BC, some was from Alberta.
But the fact that it was like, there wasn't competition between them, and if it was certainly friendly competition.
Yeah.
But on our local scene, and I'm sure on many local scenes of sort of smaller areas that where there probably is more of a crab in the bucket syndrome.
Yeah.
I think big cities, they can't afford to be pulling each other down because there's just so much competition. It's like, okay, I just got to do my own motherfucking thing, right? Whereas I think in a smaller market like Niagara where there's less artists, I mean, there is a lot of artists.
That's
the problem. There's too many artists for a small area, and that's where we start to compete with each other. However, if we all did work together, we'd see some incredible results, I think. And we're starting to move in the right direction.
Yeah, it's true. We're going there, but even with the Underground and Shorty's Bar and well, the show in May that I'm doing in Hamilton, I think the Hamilton situation is starting to spill over. Like the Hamilton, like the rise of Hamilton is starting to come over. I think
They got a scene,
yeah, I think you're right. It takes waves, you know what I mean? It's going to go from Toronto to Mississauga, from Mississauga to Hamilton, from Hamilton to, you know what I mean, St. Catharines, from St. Catharines to the Falls. And then once we can push it back, you know what I mean, once we're going up to Toronto to do shows and stuff like that, then I think it'll be better because they'll see that we're from Niagara and want to come down and look at what we're doing. You know what I mean? Even with this Camacho versus Everybody tour. St. Catharines, a lot of the time, is overlooked because it's a big town, but it's in a small region, so to speak. It's kind of small. It's kind of overlooked sometimes.
It's like medium.
Yeah, like when everybody talks about Niagara region, it's usually Niagara Falls, and it's like there's stuff happening in every city out here. Like
St. Catharines is bigger than Niagara Falls, population-wise.
Yeah, definitely.
By a lot.
It's just that Niagara Falls has more flashing lights.
It is Niagara Falls.
You know what I mean? So.
That being said, as a whole region, we've got like 400,000 people, which is like not even a quarter of Toronto's population.
Just under, yeah.
Of the GTA. So, you know, there's absolutely no reason why we can't create a cohesive scene down here that does eventually wave back up there. As these areas are becoming trendy, artsy kind of areas, I think that we were talking a little bit outside about moving hip-hop in a direction of non-violence. And I think that as much as many people can make the very valid argument that hip-hop's getting more ignorant and more violent and more drug-fueled and more this and that, there's, I think, equal movement in the opposite direction for creative expression where you don't have to be afraid of getting shot at a show or getting into fights or this or that. I think that that's a big part of what you and I have brought with our movements to the Niagara scene is even if there is competition and aggression, we very much bring a spirit of positivity and peace to the table. And I think that in itself has gone a long way. And I think if we can make that the Niagara movement, we can make a big impact on hip-hop itself with our movement, you know.
As humble as he comes across on camera, you might not realize that this is the 2019 Niagara Music Award winner for hip-hop.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? And when I saw that, I'm telling you, when you went up there for that award, I marked out a little bit. I was just like, yes, you know what I mean? Like, good. Like, he's finally gotten the acknowledgement that he's entitled to for the work and the effort that he's put out into this. You know what I mean? It wasn't, oh, look at him acting like he's better than everybody and shit. You know what I mean?
Well, you've been supporting me for long before.
Of course,
that, so
of course.
It makes sense. I mean, I looked at that as all of our victory.
And even the way you did it, like you brought up the man's done with you and you did the skit. That was jokes. That was totally.
I wish there was good footage of that.
Oh man, I didn't know to expect it. If you had given me a heads up before, I would have filmed it. But like,
I didn't think I was gonna win.
Well, hey, that's the humility right there. You know what I mean? And that's what I think puts you apart from a lot of other people where there's people who expect to be respected while being disrespectful. And then there's respectful people who get the respect that they're not even aware of. You know what I mean? That's just the way I see it. And it's just a matter of just doing, like, as long as, okay, perfect. And I want y'all to take a note from this because when it comes to music, there's a lot of things that, you know, go overlooked, like the time it takes to learn the information to produce the track, the database of information you have to have before you can actually engineer something properly. But like out here, there isn't a lot of hip-hop shows, so to speak. And I think that'll change when more people get in tune with the fact that you don't have to compete to put on a show. But what I saw when I stepped out of the hip-hop realm and I looked at the other, like the acoustics and the electrics and all of that stuff that was going on, like the metal scene, like they're so welcoming to each other. Like you see, like when I go to, shout out to Ryan Lund and the Lund crew, Jill Lund too, when you go to a Lund crew event, like people are welcoming you with open arms, literally, like hugging you. Hi, how's it going? What's going on? Long time no see. Even if you've just seen them like the week before. You know what I mean? It's like a family kind of atmosphere. And I think we could do something like that with hip hop.
I would love our events to be.
It would be so great. But like
we have had events that have felt that way, but that's generally not the spirit when you're bringing in different people from different crews and like different acts. It always is like you walk in there and like you're all kind of grilling each other a little bit.
Yep.
And like nobody wants to be the first one to come like say
Yep.
what up or whatever.
Yep.
And I'm just starting to be like, fuck all that shit, man.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of backed out of doing live shows for a bit, because it's just like not the right environment. But I want to start getting back into it, and hopefully this show on March 28th will start to push things in the right direction for the summer, man.
Yeah, man, because like I'm telling you, there's a lot that there's a lot going on out here, and like I said, I want to see the people who have been doing it get it done the way it needs to be done. You know what I mean? Like the first time I saw you and Rebel perform, I was just like, these guys are gonna fucking tear it up out here. You know what I mean? And then like I seen like you came out to that one show we did out in Welland. You know what I mean? Performed like it was a full house.
That's what we're known for.
Performed like it was a full house.
For.
You know what I mean?
Pretending it's a full house.
My dude, like shirt off, middle of the fucking. He was wilding.
Yeah, I was wearing tearaway pants and they started coming off too.
Yeah, but
button up my tearaways on stage and shit.
Oh man, but yeah, man. So if we
exciting.
could, yeah, like I want to do a couple barbecues this year, even. You know what I mean? And I'm putting that out there to you, like. You know what I mean? If we can work together to make a barbecue happen, then that would be dope.
It would be incredible. I want to do like, yeah. I've always had this vision of doing like guerrilla shows, like
Phineas and
renting
Ferb,
out like a flatbed truck and just filling it with speakers and just parking it in a parking lot somewhere and just putting on a goddamn.
Bro, I got
motherfuckers show up.
I got speakers, bro.
Just put it on Facebook like we're gonna be in this empty lot.
Bro,
you know,
I got
here,
speakers.
You know what I'm saying? So you rent a truck and make it into a stage, like literally just have us standing on the back of a truck, right? And then have people fill the parking lot, and then just fucking. The problem is you can't serve liquor. Police are gonna come.
We're allowed to tailgate.
Helicopter.
No, we can tailgate.
That's true. We'll tailgate.
It's a tailgate party. Tailgate show, straight up.
I want to do it like I have a vision for this coronavirus, right? Where artists and performers go back to the old roots of standing on the soapbox in the middle of the street and performing for whoever is walking by and listening, because there's going to be fewer people out there. You know what I'm saying? So we throw, a little tailgating outdoor party. Everybody's scared to leave their houses and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we throw big coronavirus tailgate party, right? We're throwing a show. Get only the bravest souls coming out.
Yeah.
We fucking party and celebrate life under the sky, man. We stay outside. We are going outside. We're not letting fear keep us in our goddamn houses.
Nah, man.
We're
Straight
going
up.
outside. We're performing shows and we're doing our art and we're doing our performance and we're not fucking holding back over no goddamn fear of fucking of communists or terrorists or Russians or goddamn whoever you want us to be.
Whatever y'all is.
Fucking coronaviruses and stock markets crashing and all that shit. We're still doing this goddamn thing, and that's the spirit that I want to bring to the world this summer, man.
The only thing I don't mind the fact that gas prices have gone down though. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of cool stuff with the prices of things.
Oh yeah,
weed.
The prices of that.
Even legal weed is cheap now. I don't know how what the correlation is there, but they've decided
they're trying to sell it off, bro. We should create a panic over some shit. Get them to start. If you don't buy a Choom Gang or an Explosive North song album, then you gonna get some kind of flu or some shit.
It's almost as if the media practices terrorism on us.
It's true.
Because that's terror. That's exactly what terrorism
is. It's a terror tactic. It's a scare tactic.
So what Block is suggesting is that we become terrorists.
Domestically.
Domestic terrorists. This is the last episode of Ezra Trips Balls. We are not starting a cult. I actually would love to start a cult. I think in another world I'd love to be a cult leader.
I'd like to start a movement of some sort, like where people are just so taken by what I say that they just have to do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I'd like to keep the cult in that sweet zone, right? Because it always starts off kind of cool, right? Everybody's happy and loving and they're enjoying nature and they're all fucking each other and everyone's having a great time.
Yeah.
Then the guru shit goes to the guru's head and he starts doing weird shit. He starts raping people and impregnating minors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And shit gets a little crazy. I would love to keep to have a cult, but not let the power get to my head.
Okay. So
I like to keep it in that sweet Goldilocks cult zone where everything's just right. You know,
just
what I'm saying?
just at the right. You know what I mean? Like the
not
middle
too
bowl
warm,
of porridge.
not
Not too
too
hot. Just right.
You know, we're working, but we're trading with each other. You know, what I'm
Yeah.
saying? There's no money. We're working. We're all doing what we love, and you know, there's a little bit of work, but only to build shelters for ourselves and cook and stuff like that. And, you know,
Okay.
but I don't know how we make money. That's the problem. That's sort of my problem.
We'd have to sell
The other
something.
thing, usually the financial structure of a cult is to brainwash people and get them to give you all their money.
Yeah, this is true.
Now that's the part I don't know how to get around. I don't want to do that part.
You see, it's like they gotta be willing. I don't want to have to like go through any excess stress to convince someone that they should be doing what I suggest.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, it's just
Yeah.
We'll get to that though. We'll figure that
It's
out.
gonna be an interesting year of humanity history. It's just already this 2020 has been just madness.
Man, it's Kobe. Coronavirus.
Do you think Kobe's death was an accident?
Oh boy.
I like getting into crazy shit on Ezra Tripp's
Oh
balls.
boy, that I don't know. It's convenient. There always seems to be the death of a prolific individual prior to certain ceremonies.
I see you've done some digging, haven't you?
Yo, bro, I'm telling you, like I see some of this stuff. I'm just like, okay, now why would that happen now? And then you realize
It's always near a ceremony, right?
It's in and around
these ritualistic ceremonies.
Yes, like Whitney Houston.
Yes, the day before the
day before the Grammys, and then
Kobe Bryant the day before the Grammys.
It was the day before the Grammys?
I believe it was.
Holy shit.
Or was it the Grammys? Or the,
no,
Oscars.
It was
the Grammys. It was the
Grammys?
Grammys? Alicia Keys was fucking going off.
Oh, man.
And it was at the Staples Center where the Lakers play, and that was the whole, we're doing this in the house that Kobe built and all that.
Okay.
And this motherfucker, Kobe Bryant, the part that's never talked about, he was, are you aware, all right, you know, you're obviously a sports fan.
Yeah.
Were you aware that Kobe Bryant was in the midst of suing pharmaceutical companies for putting opioids into diet pills?
And that's why they killed him.
You don't sue pharmaceutical companies. Kobe Bryant had
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of shit that I was reading about. Kobe Bryant has some sort of foundation that is essentially funded by like scientists and researchers and a bunch of weird, creepy old white dudes. And,
Okay.
And you don't know why Kobe's connected to these people or how. Next thing you know, he's suing pharmaceutical. What does he have to do with pharmaceutical companies? Well, you can just Google Kobe Bryant suing pharmaceutical companies, and there's a bunch of articles on it from late 2019. This motherfucker gets killed early 2020.
And they killed his daughter, too.
And they killed his daughter. And
7
who's
other people.
benefiting more from the coronavirus than the pharmaceutical companies?
The pharmaceutical companies are definitely in the benefit.
So am I saying that the pharmaceutical companies murdered Kobe Bryant and then launched a coronavirus to distract us from it?
You don't have to say it. I will.
Not necessarily.
I am.
But something's up.
I'm saying it. He said it in different words, but I'm gonna say it.
There's a connection.
There's always, everything is connected to. If you run the numbers, there's always a connection. Like this could be I often believe that. I used to joke with my wife about this because can I say this? Okay, cool. I had to get permission from the wife and straight up. So you know what I mean? Can't play around. But no, I used to joke with her and say, you know what? We must be you must be related to Kobe because her mother's maiden name was Bryant.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'm just like, maybe there's a parallel. And then this stuff happened. I'm just like,
I hope you're not related to Kobe.
I hope not. You know what I mean? Like it's been a topic of discussion for real. Like even on the podcast that I do, like. The question was, why do people not react so much or react like this, like they did when Kobe died during a genocide or something, like a child genocide or something like that? And I said, well, it's because that is not someone who's on TV in our lives, like that we have access to through the media. Like we don't have access to these villages. It's not like they're like this time in I'm going to, like, sorry, for now in Rwanda, children playing in the field. Here comes a missile. Boom. There they go. You know what I mean? Exactly. You're not gonna see that
Kobe
stuff.
Bryant, you feel like you know him. You've been watching him for years.
Years.
Patch, you know about his family. You know about his wife. You know about
I called one of my boys because he fought, like, Kobe helped make him the basketball player that he was. So I called one of my boys because, like, he was a big, avid fan of Kobe. And I said, yo, are you good? You know what I mean? Because, like, I just do wellness checks every now and again. But he was like, yeah, man, it's just crazy that it happened.
Check on your fellow kings.
Check on your fellow kings and queens, man. You never know what they're going through.
So is he okay?
He was good. He was good. He was just, like, he was shocked by it and just, you know.
I think Kobe Bryant was assassinated. I think LeBron James has something to do with it. I think that motherfucker is a legacy. He wants the and Dwayne Wade too is a fishy character. I think we will see the rise of Dwayne Wade in the midst of the fall of Kobe Bryant, and LeBron and Dwayne Wade I think are both connected. I think as a black man, you could tell me how you feel about this.
Okay.
It seems as though when black people hit a certain level of
Preach. You don't even got to finish your sentence, but preach. Yep.
Once they burst through at certain level, there's something weird going on, right?
That's part of the reason that thought, that mentality is part of the reason I left Toronto and came out here.
It seems that as a black man, you cannot exceed a certain level without succumbing to. I'm gonna say this how I think it, and I'm not like, please don't take this as anything other than my opinion, and don't go and mar me for it. If you want to at me, remember my wife and Jer has argued with some of the best online, so I'll just forward you to her. But but as it goes, it's like Lupe Fiasco said, why would. Well, except for in this instance, why would a white man put a black man in a position that looks higher than them? Right.
And
especially a rich old white man. Why is he gonna make a poor artist look like they're better than them? Because basketball player or boxer, you name it. Artist, musician, philanthropist, activist. You know what I mean? I said to one, I remember I was on the phone with the office of the premier one time, and they're like, well, why don't you run for office? I said, let's see, Jesus, Buddha, Gandhi, Lenin, Kennedy, X, King. I don't know. You tell me. A bunch of others.
You get a laundry list of them. Huey Newton, Emmett Till.
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I mean? Like
horror stories.
Like
So that was the way it used to go down. Now we see, who are some good examples? Somebody like even a Jay-Z. Like
Jay-Z.
I love Jay-Z, but what is going on? You know what I'm saying? What the fuck is going on there?
He's
something fishy is going on there.
He's I don't know. I haven't really been following. I know he's gotten dreads from now, like he's gotten Nazi dread.
Yeah, and working with the NFL and stuff like that. Which is traditionally, arguably racist organization in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
They've profited off of the athletic abilities of people of color for a very long time, and then somebody goes to take a stand against police brutality, and all fucking hell breaks loose, and then they blackballed from the league. Yep. Not allowed to hire this guy, and fucking everybody's all of a sudden a big redneck patriot.
Bro, it's like getting banned from City Hall because you advocate for your rights.
And then Jay-Z partners up with these people.
Under the ideology that he's going to improve the interaction between cultures.
And then we get a highly satanic Super Bowl performance from J-Lo and Shakira. It's another one of these, like your Grammys or it's always these ritualistic things, and it's always the same formula. It's always when they know millions of people are going to be watching, they do these things.
Yep, brainwash, like the ice bucket challenge. That was like a baptism of sorts. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, and I'm certainly not ashamed to point out again that I like to go off on some crazy shit. And I like to be open to anything, and I do take in a lot of theories and read a lot of theories that I don't always necessarily agree with 100%, but I always find pretty interesting. And we talk about these rituals and stuff at your Super Bowls and your Grammys and all these big things. It's a form of black magic, right?
Yeah.
I think that humanity, in a lot of ways, is under a spell. And we are not only forced to view these rituals, but we also are forced to participate in these rituals and reenact these rituals ourselves. For example, Christmas is essentially a series of rituals that we participate in. The whole
gift giving,
under the trees, it's all
the dinner,
shit, right?
yeah,
it's all based around the solstice and the pagan. It's all, none of that has anything to do with Jesus, right? Like, it's all has nothing to do with Jesus.
Christmas, actually, the idea of Christmas and Santa Claus was created by Coca-Cola in 1902, I think it was.
Yeah, and we're always we're doing these rituals, and we don't know why. We don't know what these traditions are, what they're. So I think that there's a history of magic and witches and shit like that that's sort of been suppressed in a way. And I think that a lot of what we're doing in reenacting these things over and over and over again, both on a micro scale with doing things like Christmas, and on a larger scale with fucking things like award shows and celebrity deaths and fucking sacrifices and all this shit. We're constantly doing these rituals and reenacting these rituals, and I think it's some sort of spell, and that's we are being kept asleep by the spells that are being put on us, and that we're sort of being made to put on ourselves. To look at something like the death of Whitney Houston followed by a ritual, the death of Kobe Bryant followed by a ritual.
Her daughter died the same way she did too.
Right?
Similar to how she died. Yeah, it is a sacrifice. It's like they take the highest in a certain culture, the highest person, like the person that's most respected by the demographic, and then they say, yeah, well, now we're gonna kill him. And then that makes people not want to do what that person was doing, or be seen in the same light as that person.
And it's not only literal deaths; it's also like character assassinations.
Oh yeah,
is another huge thing that they do. Kevin Hart,
Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy,
everybody, right?
Yeah.
And again, what is it with it? Like when a black person gets to a certain level of rich, they either are fucked with or fucking killed. You know, it's like they can only get so far, it seems. Either they're compromised, assassinated, or character assassinated.
Kevin Hart. And you're right.
It does happen to white people as well. But it's so strange, the pattern of it.
But did you know?
With your Whitney Houstons and your Kobe Bryants, and it's like, now LeBron James is fishy, Jay-Z is fishy. They're like, and there's all these stories, especially in the media world as well. Of Jennifer Hudson, her family got murdered when she got.
Oh yeah.
Bunch of weird shit. Kanye West's mom dies.
Yeah, sacrifice, because some of them sacrifice others to get to where they want to go.
Like, at what point does it stop being a big coincidence for everybody? You know,
when enough people open their eyes to it.
And what I said to Mike we did sort of a first episode that we didn't use because didn't record properly. We sort of took it as a practice trial.
Okay.
Yeah. Fuck. What was I just talking about?
You said something to Mike.
Something that I brought up to Mike. We were talking about all this fucking
the whole Kobe Bryant and Bill fishy, Jay-Z being fishy, and Dwayne Wade being fishy, and
damn it, man. I don't remember. No, it wasn't the red scarf thing. I brought that up on episode 1, but anyway, regardless, there's definitely some fishy goddamn shit going on. When I play this back, I'm gonna remember what I wanted to say, but we'll bring it up another time.
All right.
Yeah, it's just very weird. It can't always be a coincidence, especially when it's the same thing. Oh yeah, now I remember what it was. That's what it is. I think part of the reasons why it's always seems to be the same thing, like it's always the same playbook, like somebody gets sacrificed, then there's a show, or like somebody gets suicided, then there's a red scarf. The idea that I've heard tossed around that I think makes a lot of sense is that they give us the clues, or they make it obvious
Okay.
in order to transfer the blame onto us. Because if it is in plain sight, and we, the people, are still not doing anything about it, then we are guilty.
So you're telling me that they set it up and they put it up and they're like, we're going to kill Whitney Houston. These are the signs. You have an opportunity to stop it, but you only have so much time. But people are sitting there like, huh? What?
And they're
What?
distracted by the next thing
And
the next thing.
Exactly. So then it happens. It's a terrible thing, and I've wondered that same thing. So I'm beginning to wonder if you're like an empath or like a clairvoyant, or like if you have your penile gland is just on like high alert.
I'm still figuring it out myself. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you for noticing.
No, but like that's been 3 topics that I've thought about deeply that you've actually brought to light. So, that's definitely something interesting that I find.
Well, I think that this is stuff that's interesting for people to hear as well, that they don't necessarily feel comfortable bringing up to just anybody or talking about, and especially when we're talking about the racial things, that's something people are not comfortable bringing up or talking about
my
at all.
gosh,
Us being an interracial friendship,
Yeah.
I think it's important for people to be able to see that I can ask you questions.
Exactly.
And
And I'm
without
not
you-
going to overreact to them.
Like, hey, why'd you fuck you ask me?
You know what I mean?
Once you have that established level of respect, there's no reason why you can't be curious and ask questions and stuff like that.
No reason whatsoever.
So let's talk about hip hop in that regard.
Okay.
There's been a lot of discussion lately. I've sort of followed this discussion on Eminem, because he's now back in once again. His new album's pretty good. I don't know if you heard it, but there's a discussion going on in hip hop that a lot of black hip hop artists are being asked. There was an artist named Lord Jamar who famously came out on DJ Vlad maybe a year ago or 2 and said that Eminem is a guest in the house of hip hop because he is white. And hip hop culture is black culture, and even though he made one of the best to ever do it, he is still a guest. Now, before you go on, let me come out and say that Eminem himself was asked about this, and he did say that he does indeed feel that he is a guest in hip hop. So he felt that even though the comment was disrespectful towards him, he didn't necessarily disagree with how he feels. Now, how do you feel, and not just about Eminem, but about hip-hop culture and how that ties to black culture? And do you feel that if somebody of another race does hip-hop, that they, like, okay, let me tell you how I feel about it as a white guy. I feel that, who does hip-hop, I feel that it is my responsibility to always make sure that I am giving the culture the utmost respect when I am doing it. Oh, is it still going to record? Oh, yeah, it's still recording.
Still recording, okay.
So that's where I come at.
Okay.
Like, I feel like as long as I am giving it the utmost respect, and I'm not, and I think that's sort of what they mean by guest in the house. It's like I have to be extra cautious that I am not stepping into this culture and fucking putting my muddy shoes everywhere. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Whereas you have more freedom to say, this is my culture, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
You know what?
How do you feel about that?
Okay, I feel uneasy about it. to tell you the honest truth,
says I should feel uneasy right now.
I feel uneasy about it because, like, in a way, and I've been watching, and not just from what I've seen in the evolution of hip hop or hip hop evolution, but I've come to find that it is like when I say our way, like it is the black culture's way of expressing the struggle and the strife and overcoming that. And it's like, it's almost like hip hop. Gosh, hip hop is almost like basketball in a sense, except opposite where it comes to the culture, in the sense of, like, it was a white guy who created basketball,
right?
Played by, I think it was well-off white men.
It was a Canadian guy.
Canadian guy, James Naismith. So, like, I relate to it and I say, how do, like, white people feel knowing that blacks are now more prolific in something that they created for themselves, kind of thing. And not everybody, like, people don't take offense to it, but it's like, for me, it's like, if we created something, or like if I created something say I created this microphone for you to use or for people to use to express themselves. That's the point of it. Right. Self-expression. That's ultimately the root of hip hop. It just happened to be created created within the black culture. Now, just like other cultures, or just like we have done in two other cultures, we have adapted to their way of life. You know what I mean? Like coming to Canada, my parents coming to Canada, like, you know what I mean? Things like that. So do I feel like if you're white, you shouldn't rap? No. Do I feel like you should be respectful of the culture if you decide to rap? Yes. Because the situations they're in are like, these are people who are talking about their life, people who are going through whatever they're going through. And to have someone, like, I've seen a situation where there was this young kid rapping about how he's got a phantom and how he's got bling all over his neck. And I'm like, you're 14 years old. What are you doing? You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, I saw you pull in your mom's van. Why are you like adulterating rap like that for? But like, to hear you and like even Lighthouse, fucking off the top of my head, that song is, it's got like an eerie undertone to it, but it's still like, it's one of those songs where you can hear and say, okay, there's a message in this. What's the message? As long as you're making music with a message, make whatever music you want to make. But if you can't convey something that people can learn from, then that's where I get a little, like, you know what I mean? Like when they're just talking about guns and knives and drugs and shit like that, that's where I'm just like, okay, like, unless you're living that lifestyle, don't rap about it.
I think that you're really hitting the nail on the head as far as how I feel about it as well. Is like, there is a place for the guns and the knives, and there's certainly even a place for the cars and the hoes and the money. That has an appeal when it's coming from somebody who has come from the struggle.
T.I., Ludacris, right? DMX, Nas.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That type of the hood language and the vernacular and the words that they choose to use is what is best for the hip hop craft, in my opinion.
Yes.
Like the rap that sounds the best is utilizing hood slang and hood language and hood terminology and shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's why I think a lot of white rappers come off corny, because they don't have as much to talk about that sounds good in hip hop.
Okay.
Right? So like a white person may have just as many struggles as a black person. It's
definitely
not, just to say, it's not gonna sound as good in a rap song necessarily. You know what I mean?
But then you got country music, right? Where like you could be rapping or you could be talking about some sad shit, but you're technically rapping.
Right.
Like I've heard country songs where they sound like Florida Georgia Line. They are legit, like they rap.
Hip-hop,
they have hip hop influences. Yeah. So like, you know what I mean? It's not to say that, like, for me, like I'd feel awkward going to, like, I still feel awkward even singing country songs.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just another genre of music, but like I was mocked the other day because I have a USB that has Garth Brooks' greatest hits on it. Garth Brooks is a fucking legend. I don't care. You know what I mean? I had his greatest hits on my USB, and they looked at me funny, just like, you have that on there? Yes, I do. You know why? Because it's music.
Yeah.
So like as a universal language, anyone should be able to express themselves as they feel using the mediums available to them. As a culture, you have to respect the origin of it in order to excel in it. I have seen so many different things coming up, like so many different people rapping, and it's like, I don't watch skin color. I don't really care what color you are. If your conscience isn't correct, though, then I have a big problem.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because it's just how it is. There's no way for you to escape your character or lack thereof. So depending on how you conduct yourself in a particular field is how you're going to be treated. If you know that you're a textbook nerd and you go into the hip hop game like, I got guns, and I bust them for fun. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell?
It's not genuine.
It's not genuine. Like, you know what I mean? Tell me about your textbooks. Tell me about how they look. Tell me about the things that got you out of the nook. Like, You see what I did there?
That was good. That was good.
Thank you. But you know what I mean? Tell me about your life. Don't look at someone else's life and tell me about it. Tell me about what you're living. That's how you make honest, genuine hip hop. You know what I mean? You tell me about like your songs right there. Like In Lit is probably like I heard that CD and it's like Dogs. That's another song on there where I'm just like, that's fucking eerie. Because like the message in there and everything that's going on, like even the snippets that you use, I'm just like, it's making me reevaluate a lot of different things. So, and when you were talking about like getting to a certain point, like I believe that. I believe that once I get to a certain point that society is willing to accept, if I exceed that, then there's going to be complications that present themselves in my life. Now, I'm not sacrificing any of the people in my life to get to a better place. And that's what a lot of people are willing to do. They're willing to sacrifice those who are in their lives to get to where they want to go without realizing the same people they sacrifice are the ones that are helping getting them there.
And they're the reason why they're doing it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think that's easy to lose sight of when you become tunnel vision in trying to accomplish your goals, is that the people around you, you're trying to make them proud and you're trying to improve their lives. And if you don't have them there because you fucking sold them out to succeed, then what fucking good is your success?
Yeah.
I mean, who are you sharing it with at that point?
Exactly.
And your new fucking businessmen friends, your old creepy old white.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, oh, welcome to the club.
You know,
but I find,
Mazel tov.
but I found too, like I've done my own thing and then I've been accepted into groups. And I've been accepted into groups and I've been accepted into groups and I've been accepted into groups. But the main group that isn't really accepting me is my own.
That's always very interesting.
It's
right?
very interesting. Like even going back to Cheshire Black, like I handed out my CD and I was just like, positive feedback, gave it to someone similar demographic. Oh, I don't like it. So let me get this straight. The 50 people I gave it to before, you never had anything negative to say, but you have something negative and I'm just supposed to change everything about my life? No. Thank you for your opinion. What song did you actually like? I appreciate that. Have a good day. Moving forward. It's like you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Do you feel any type of, like, how does that make you feel?
Honestly, it makes me so disappointed. Because, like, for me to know that if someone's doing something good, I'm going to support them. And to see the lack of support there is for some of the good things that I'm doing, it's kind of complicated. Like, I have a lot of support. I'm not going to lie. But there's some things that I do that people look at and they're just like, well, we can't get behind that. And it's like, but I'm doing that for you. You know what I mean? You can't, oh, there's nothing to do out here. Okay, I'm going to put on a show. Put on the show. Oh, well, we don't want to go to that show.
We don't want to pay.
We don't want to pay.
You know?
How are we going to get there? Come on, man. Like, if you want to do it, you have to do it. You can't just, and that's one of the biggest things out here. Like, they want to do it until it's time to do it. And then when it's time to do it, some of them are nowhere to be found.
They ain't there.
They ain't there.
They ain't fucking there, man. And that's unfortunately one of the many struggles of being an artist. But that's why we got to find motherfuckers, like-minded people like each other, and continue to keep this movement going however we can. Anything else you wanna add? You wanna say to the people? We're at over an hour now, so I feel pretty good. Being this is the second episode and all, I know that you do need to get out of here at some point.
All right. I just want to know, like, what led you to starting the podcast?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I want to do something creative besides music.
Okay.
Almost as a favor to my music, to sort of, I've been very just caught up in always that being my one creative outlet.
Okay.
I do love talking, and I love talking about a variety of different subjects.
Noticeable.
Not necessarily just hip hop. So I wanted to have an avenue where I could bring on not only local hip hop people that I could also give exposure to and talk to about their music and give them an avenue to promote shows or projects or whatever, but also bring on comedians and bring on people that also do other podcasts. And I'm also just going to bring on friends, and I'm going to bring on people that I know are interested in certain topics, and just basically almost do a variety of things. And I my education is in radio.
Okay.
So although I don't remember most of my education in radio, I know it's somewhere in here. And so I have a lot of the technical skills needed for it, and I enjoy podcasts. I love listening to them.
Okay.
And this is something that I have been wanting to do for a while and just kept putting off, But people like yourself and Mike and Deke have all showed me that, hey, people will listen if you do it.
Yeah.
People will listen if you do it. So I appreciate you guys sort of inspiring me to get it started. And again, thank you for coming on, man. And I hope you check out some of the other episodes too.
For sure.
And fuck yeah, man. So where can the people find Cheshire Black?
You can find Cheshire Black on all streaming platforms. That's CHESHIREBLACK by Dablock, DABLOCK, all one word. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon, Deezer, wherever streaming is done. You can get that. I'm also available on Instagram at Dablock Online. I do Twitter as well at Dablock Online, DABLOCKONLINE. All one word.
And what about your different podcasts?
Oh, the podcasts. My podcasts, I have
got a slew of them.
Tonight I have the discussion. That's with hosted by Interp with Stoddy P and yours truly. Either today or tomorrow, I'm going to do Tough Talks with Tilly and the Block. Saturday is the Tyrell Effect, which we've had you on. And by all means, you're welcome to come on again whenever you have an available day.
Sounds good, man.
That's at 12 o'clock on Saturdays. Mondays, we have Daddy-Daughter Time. We had to move it till after school because we used to have until 8:50 to get her on the bus. They cut off 20 minutes. So, like,
sons of bitches.
I'm telling you, bro, like, I can't even sleep late anymore. I have to get up and just get her ready. So
one thing after another with these goddamn schools these days.
I'm telling you, bro. Like, honestly, the strikes don't even bother me because when she's at home, my mind is at ease. So, you know what I mean? That's just where I'm at. By the way, strikes hurt children more than they hurt the people that are paying your taxes. Anyways, exactly. Then we got Candid Conversations that happens on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock. So, I'm keeping busy. Plus, these shows, March 26th in Welland at Lux, and then March 28th at Shorty's in St. Catharines. Then May 14th. May 14th at Honest Lawyer Fennel in Hamilton. I got tickets. Buy them up. Hit me up on my inbox, David the Block Terrell on Facebook.
We're going to link everything. You can find me at Ezza905.
Sure.
Also for the podcast at Ezza Trips Balls. My latest project, Pilot Boy, is at smarturl.it/pilotboy. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff through there. Also going to be at the show March 28th. Maybe we should we do a song together?
I think so.
Together. We haven't really talked about it.
Yeah, I'm down for that still.
We'll work each other into each other's sets. So come out and see us, both of us, Geneva Street, Shorty's Sports Bar, March 28th. Check out both of our recent projects. I'll link them in the description.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Coming on, man, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Get drunk, don't catch the coronavirus, and don't get red scarfed.
Wash your hands.
Peace.
About to take a plane to another plane, to another plane, to another plane, bumping back and not nice while I'm trapping in the rain.